Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be spending part of our time in Chrissy's building, my wife. We're going to be building a tool that I should have built a long time ago. I've needed it for quite a while. And it's called a shave horse. That will allow us to better do woodworking and sharpening and all that of all of our tools. We're going to build this out of four 8-foot 2x4s and one, I would say, 5/8 inch dowel rod and a small hinge, and then some screws. That's all you'll need. I'll put the build sheet and everything and the cut links and all that stuff in the comments. I'll go through all that while I'm talking to you. I gotta find the chop saw. So once I find the chop saw, we'll get started. Found her chop saw. I may have to go get mine. We'll see. Alright, I'm back in the wife's shop trying to find a straight edge. It's not too possible, but we're gonna make sure the thing's set up great when we start. And it does look like that is a 90 degrees, so we should be able to start here with a couple of our cuts. We are going to be making a couple straight cuts, a couple 30-degree cuts, all that good stuff. We'll find a pencil and we'll get started on the first two pieces. Forgive me, guys, I am fighting a cold, so I know my voice sounds awful and whatnot, but it is what it is. I'm doing a lot of snotting, a lot of that carrying on. I don't like that at all, but again, as the great Blake would say, it is what it is. Alright, first two pieces we're going to cut are straight, and we need them 60 inches long. So pick the best end of the board, the least amount of cracks and whatnot, and cut from that end and mark you 60. And we will cut this off. Now we'll mark that as 1 alpha. Mark it on what you want to be your inside board. This one. So 1A, 1 alpha. Set that to the side. Pick another board. Again, you got, whether you do this out of spares, there's stuff laying around, you can do that, but you will need, we're starting off with 4. 4 4x8 2x4s. This is going to be the inside of our board here. Again, 60 inches. Measure once, cut thrice, what? Something like that. These don't have to be perfect. It's not doing anything except for making it again, right on the ugly side, 1 Bravo. So we have 1 Alpha, 1 Bravo, both cut extensions. Next one we're going to need is a piece that's 8 inches long, which will probably, let's see, let me see how much or how long these are here first before I cut them. 26. And I'm going to leave these to cut off another piece later. So I'm going to go get another board. We're going to cut a piece that is on the long end. One end it's 90, the other end it's got a 30-degree cut on it. At its longest spot, I about broke my ankle. Its longest spot is 8 inches. Measure 8 inches. So the long end of this board, I need to be at 8 inches, and I need a 30-degree cut. And I guess we're going to have to trust this saw to give us that 30-degree cut. All right, that's a 30-degree cut. We'll try to leave it 8 inches long. End up with that. Okay. That right there is going to be part number 2. So it doesn't matter which side you write this on, it goes in between the frames. So number 2. All right, now we're going to do one that is a 6-inch piece straight. Set back up to 0. So I've got 2 pieces later. Now I got 1 piece with 30 degrees. So we're going to cut number 4 real quick. So it's a 30-degree and another 30-degree, and it has to be parallel with this one. So if we just set this back up to 30-degree, you get both those at one time. 30-degree, parallel, and it needs to be 21 inches long. This is your front leg. Now, when we do these legs, you can make them, like I said, front leg's 21 inches long. Our rears are going to be 18 inches long. If you want this thing to be higher, that's fine. Cut them higher. If you want your front end of your horse to sit lower, do that. It's all up to you. You can add extensions to the legs if you want to later. Build we're doing is 18 on the back, 21 on the front. Just double check that. 21 inches long, and I would say that's 21 inches from the end of the board to where we're going to cut, right? Again, probably doesn't have to be exactly perfect. We're going to try to keep that, control what we control today, right now. So we'll get it as straight and as pretty as we can. Again, parallel with that one, so 30-degree and 30-degree. It looks pretty good. I don't know why this thing don't have a laser, but it doesn't. It might have used to have. So those lines are parallel, and that is part number 4, front leg. All right, now we'll straighten this thing out. I don't think I have any more 30-degree cuts. I'm going to look over the build sheet. That's all the 30-degree cuts I got. I'm going to cut off this small end. And now we're going to cut a 6-inch piece, which will be number 3. This will be the inside piece to your back, the back of the frame. Okay. Six-inch piece, number 3. Again, right on either side of it, number 3. Now I'm going to cut 2 18-inch back legs. Whichever one's going to be the top and sandwich in your frame, you can write on it there. Of course, you can sand all these off, but that's going to be piece number, I forget what we are, 5 alpha. Another 18-inch piece. I'm going to recut it and remark it. I need a speed square bad, but I can't find it. Five Bravo. All right, that's 5 Bravo and Alpha. I'm going to cut 2 8.5-inch pieces. And these will go on your frame near the back seat. These will be number 6 Alpha and 6 Bravo. 8.5 inches. Got these glasses that help. Y'all don't know it. The inside of this, you want to put 6 Alpha. Cut another one, 8.5 inches. Six Bravo. Inside piece, pretty piece. All right. I know I need a 4.5-inch piece coming up later, so I'm going to set this guy aside. We're going to get another board. We're going to cut it at 12 inches. I'm going to remeasure these again. Those will be 26, cut straight. So we'll get one more board. So far we've only wasted that much wood. Okay, so that's the goal, is to do this on 4 boards and not really waste anything. All right. 2 12-inch pieces. This will be number 7 Alpha and Bravo. And clearly, her saw not quite on 0, which I'll fix that here in a second. All right, this is number 7 Alpha. Another piece, 12 inches long. 7 Bravo. All right, here gets us to our 26-inch pieces. So we will use these 2. This right here is going to be the frame of your treadle. So you want to keep it nice and straight. 26 inches long. That'll be number 8 Alpha. All right, so we got some cracking on this side, so we're going to cut that off. So, and nastiness there. So turn this around, cut this side off. Looks like we may lose most of that. Great, Bravo. So that brings us to our 2 4.5-inch pieces. And 7.5-inch piece. Okay. See how long these are. They're right at 9 3/4. Yep. So we'll cut a 4.5 piece out of this. This is 7. I think we might just go the easy route. That way I don't cut my hands off. We'll take 1 4.5 piece out of this. Yeah, we'll get my hand near that. So this is number 9 Alpha. We'll go ahead and cut number 9 Bravo. 9 Bravo. All right, for the number 10s, it's 1 7.5 inch piece. So we'll cut that out of this right here. Straighter end of that. In fact, I may want this to be prettier because I think this is the piece that goes on top. We can keep cutting off the big board. 7.5 inch piece. Like I said, I want it to be pretty. So I need a 7.5, a 12, and a 10 inch piece. So should have plenty left in this. Let's remeasure that one more time. 7.5, 7.5. Ten. One 12.5 inch piece. So it'll have to be on this long board. This will be your foot for your treadle. So if you want it to be bigger than that, you can make it bigger than that. You'll see that when I get there. This is number 11. Number 11. All right, so here we're going to have a piece that's 10 inches long with a 15-degree miter. So 10 inches on the long end, 15-degree miter. So we'll measure this on this board and cut from this side. 10 inches long, 15-degree miter. This will be like the little block for your, or the adjustable block for your ramp, which you'll see that shortly. So we'll take our machine and go to 15 degrees-ish. And we'll try to line that up the best we can. 15 just looks like so little. But this ain't my design. Somebody else's design, so they know what they're talking about. We're going to trust them. They know what they're talking about. I believe that's it. We came up a little short on that, but that's number 12. All right, now we're going to cut two pieces, 6 inches long, with a miter on, with a 15-degree miter on the long end. So I've got a 15-degree miter there. So I'm going to save that and move that out the way. So all I got to do is cut that off at 16 inches long. Take this guy and cut it to where I need it. I said 6 inches long on the long end. All right, here we go. That is going to be part number 13. Yeah, 13 alpha. All we got to do is measure this one out, 6 inches from the long end, cut it off. And there is 13 Bravo. Those two go together, right? Okay. So these three pieces will go together like that, and they will go down in the middle of your frame, and you can move this adjustable block. Well, and I figured out where we messed up. I was not supposed to cut that. I was supposed to cut the rest out of these little ones, because that right there has got to be 36 inches. It happens. So don't waste this last long board. You do have one more piece that I didn't have on that same build sheet, 36 inches. This one right here is only 27. Had I not cut all of it out, we'd have had it. But I will find me another piece of wood to use for that piece. All right, so that's all the cutting. We would cut one more 36 inches. That's why I'm doing this, and y'all can see what not to do. And you won't have any scrap. So if we did that, took all that, we would have maybe one piece of scrap board out of 4 2x4s. All right, I'm gonna find me another board. My wife's got some wood around here to make for the ramp. I'll get all that gathered up. We'll go over to the other shop. We'll put it all together. All right. Here is our. I gotta get screws. Okay. Here's everything we have to build our shave horse. We've just cut out. I did find a just under 36-inch piece. It's like 35 7/8, so it'd be close enough. And you will need a dowel rod. Now, this right here is going to be the pivot for your the treadle or clamp. So I'm not sure how far we're going to cut that. I think that's around 5/8 inch. Figure that out in a little bit, but you can use a toilet plunger handle, whatever you want to use, whatever, as long as it's thick enough and strong enough to go in there and make a pivot point. And I don't, like I said, I don't know how long we need it yet. We'll figure that out in a minute. I'm gonna go get the screws, everything I need, and we'll start building this joker. All right, I've got our screws. Some I found laying around in my wife's building. I don't tell her I'm using her stuff. She doesn't like me using her stuff. All right, so we'll take parts 1 Alpha, 1 Bravo, put them on the table. Take number 2, which is the piece with the 30-degree miter, put it on the end. Now that right there will be our front from now on. I'll make sure y'all seeing this good. So the piece with the 30, or the end with the 30-degree, will be our front from now till the joker's built. We'll flush all these up. We'll put a couple screws in them. it's not got to be the strongest thing in the world. So just 2 screws per board should do. All right. So that's 1 Alpha, 1 Bravo, and number 2 put together. Now we're going to take number 3, which is our 6-inch short piece, and we're going to put it in the back, which is just the other end. And again, it doesn't matter which way that goes. Make sure you put your sides up. This, it might be easier just to do it like this. The boards can run less on me. I'm all flush against the top. Again, flush across the top. All right, stand it back up. You've got a big net or staple in it. All right, so then the next piece will be attach the front leg, which is part number 4, onto the front. So figure out which ones you want looking down. All right, so I'm thinking like this maybe. So it's going to go in here. See that? It's going to slide along that 30-degree cut and then be flush at the top, okay? And right there will be parallel to the ground. If everything was cut straight and the world is flat. All right, so we'll put 2 screws on this side, 2 screws on the other. All right, so it moved a little bit, so we'll make sure we move it back before we put the second screw in. So it's going to sit up like that. Just beautiful. All right. So that's our front leg, sitting just pretty. Okay. Turn her over, stand her up in the air, and now we're going to, all right, move this out a little bit, and we'll take our number 5 Alpha and Bravo. Remember, put your numbers in. Of course, that one's got the writing, so I'm gonna put it out. Okay. We'll just come here to the something boy. Again, I'm sorry for the sniffles. I want to hear it about it as much as you do. Okay. All right, we're going to come to there, and those are pieces 5 Alpha, 5 Bravo, the 18-inch back legs. Okay. Screw them in. I believe my wife's bit is wore out. I'm going to have to go get another one. Ow, that sucker is hot. You just flush them up across the back. I have to find out a better way to hold this thing. There we go. Possibly. That's not gonna work. Can't breathe, guys. Stand by. All right. Go and get your bolt or your screw started. Might make it a little easier. Flush it up. All right, I definitely got to get a different bit because this one's going. All right, I'll be back. Now we're cooking with grease or gas or something. I don't know what we're cooking with. All right, so now you're going to take, I need something to mark this off with. Not blood. All right, we're going to look for number 6, Alpha and Bravo. There's 6 Bravo. There's 6 Alpha. There's your little 8-inch pieces. I believe they're 8-inch pieces. Eight and a half inch pieces. All right, we're gonna put them here right on the inside of your leg. Okay. So we'll put that one there. Again, you don't got to put a whole bunch of screws in it. This is mainly for where your butt's gonna go, and just make sure it's in place on a little string. The battery dead. No, it ain't. All right, flip our apparatus around. Put the other number 6 piece right here. And if you have an uglier joint, do it right here because we're going to put a 12-inch piece across this, which is number 7, Alpha and Bravo. And that's tough. All right. All right, there was 6 Alpha, 6 Bravo. Now we're going to do 7 Alpha, 7 Bravo, which are your 12-inch pieces falling across the floor right now. 7 Bravo, 7 Alpha. And they're just going to come in here and purdy everything up for you, okay? That's all it's going to do. Make your hind end a little wider, your seat a little wider. So we'll get these started here. you want to put more screws in it, put more screws in it. But as you can see, we're going to put another one right here. You have a nice wide place for your rump. Your rump. Again, put the ugly side in. There. Now she'll stand up. I don't really have enough room on this table, but as you can see, butt goes here. We will come in and sand these corners. I would imagine that right there will hurt your hind end when you sit on it too long. So we'll come in and sand these corners when we're all done. All right, we'll set this aside for now. All right, now we're gonna start working on our treadle or our clamp. So we take pieces 8. We take pieces 8 Alpha, 8 Bravo, lay them out. And we're off just a little bit. We'll let that be the bottom-ish. All right, so then we're gonna spread that out. So then we got 2 pieces, which was number 9 Alpha and Bravo. And their only job is to go in here at 4.5 inches, like this, and work as spacers. 9 Alpha, 9 Bravo, and they'll go at the top and the bottom. You don't have to have these, but it works, so we're going to use them. So button those in, and that'll be the frame of our box. Wait a minute, I don't think I can do all that yet. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Sorry. Yeah. I was thinking, can't put this together. You got to put it on there first. You don't. It will all slip in between here. Disregard. All right, go ahead and get your screws prepped for this. At least one in the top, one in the bottom. Don't do what I did and split your wood out. May be helpful to drill the holes first, or just go a little softer. All right, there's the frame. I believe I'll put this as the bottom. So we'll take number 10, and that will be our top. So whichever one you want to be the top. I'll finish putting this one together. Okay. So I guess we're gonna make this the top. We'll put our 10-inch piece right there. Pretty side up, because that's what you're gonna be looking at every time you look at this thing. So you don't look at ugly piece, make it an ugly piece up there. Won't bother me a bit. This has got no strength involved in it, so one screw either side should be good. Oh, we're gonna drill that piece, and we're gonna throw that one away. So we're gonna make us another number 10, and I'm gonna get the drill, and we're gonna drill this other one before I do it. All right, guys, back with the new piece number 10, 7.5 inches long. We're gonna screw or drill for our screws. That way we don't split it. Again, it's just a pretty piece, so you don't need a whole lot of force up there. Go easy so you don't split it again, Chuck. All right, there you go. That's the top. All right. Now we'll take number 11, which is your 12.5 inch piece, number 11, and we'll put it on the bottom. You want to get that spacing about right, so find a tape measure and do that. So there again, so that's your foot pedal. Me personally, I think I'm gonna make this one a little bit bigger. See, I've only got that much room for my big old feet to catch every time. So we can put that joker right here. So we're gonna go change this 12-inch piece to like a, I don't know. I need a tape measure, but anyway, we're gonna change this 12-inch piece. I'll let you know what we do. All right, I'm back. I changed it to a 16-inch piece. That gives you around, let's see, yep, around 4.5 inches either side. So we're gonna get this set. 4 3/8, 4 1/4. So just a little bit more. Okay, 4 1/4, 4 1/4. So there you go. Make it 16 and 4 1/4, 4 1/4. Hanging off. Now, let's grate on it. So you will have force on this. So you're going to want to put more than just a couple screws in this. We're going to pre-drill some just so we don't split nothing. And we'll sink all those. All right, so that part is done. Ow. Now I have a splinter. I think it's a metal shard. It is. Put your glasses on, dummy. Oh well, ain't have time for that. All right, now you get your place your number 12, which is number 12. This is your long 15-degree miter. Let's place it on the table like so, okay? Then you're going to take your 13 Alpha and Bravos. Again, 15-degree miter. You're going to place them just like that, okay? Get them all flush across the top. Best way to do that, leave them sitting there. And let's drill a couple holes. And we'll attach all these together. Ow. All right, one on that side, so that's Alpha on that side, Bravo on this side. Again, drill some holes. And attach with the screw. Well, that got kind of out of place, but it's all right. As long as the top is flush, you'll be fine. All right, so that right there is your adjustable ramp. Go in there like so. All right, we're ready to move on. All right, we got our shave horse back on the table. So now we're gonna attach our treadle to the horse. You simply just go up and over. It's gonna be tight, maybe a little too tight. You might have to negotiate it a little bit, but it should work. We're gonna set this on the ground up. Wherever you negotiate the best, that's where you'll do it. And again, you want it to be tight. You may not want it to be that tight, but you want it to be pretty tight. If it just quit dancing with me. Okay, let's put a little force on these screws. We asked nicely before. We don't have to ask nicely again. There we go. There we go. So we'll work that down. Now we got to figure out, I got to figure out how to film it. I got to figure out where I want this thing. Okay. Stand by. Everything. So, what you want, I actually think I'm sitting kind of sideways. I think one of my legs on my back might be a little off. I feel like I'm sitting sideways. That's all right. But you want this treadle or clamp to be about your feet off the ground. That way you know it won't hit the ground. And then you want to move this thing around to where when it's fully locked in on a piece of wood, your feet's at your most comfortable position. Your legs are at the most comfortable position. I've marked it here and screwed it here. That way it can't move until I get the dowel in it. I'm gonna come up, put me a hole in it, and then we will drive the dowel in it. And this part will be done. Again, this is your ramp. It will go in this guy. Sorry, that's your ramp adjuster. That's adjustable. You know, if you want it more steep, you go toward that way. If you want less steep, you come out here. So, as you can see, out there would be about as low as I could go. And then up here, as you can see, it'll be even higher. We can even go on the other side of this treadle and get it even higher, depending on the thickness of your material. And that is adjustable. It moves real easy. We'll put the hinge on the end of this once I find the hinge. I'm going to get it up there, get the hole through it, get my dowel through it. We'll be done with that. And I can see right there is where my issue is with my leg. All right, let's make sure we're on the lines. We are. Go straight through the center of that. The trick will be, do I have a long enough drill bit to go through the whole thing at one time? All right. We've got the shave horse up on boards where we can possibly get a hole through it. I do have a long drill bit. There may be a way easier way to do this. I don't know. If there is, y'all tell me. I'm just going to pick center, pretty much center mass, and go as straight as I can. So now in theory, I just chase those holes with a bit big enough for that. Looks like my dowel is a 7/8. So we're gonna simply attempt to frame out 7/8. I don't like that. I don't want it to be 7/8. So I'm knocking off. I don't think I want it to be that big. I think I want it to be something smaller than that. I'm gonna have my wife pick up a 1/2 inch dowel or a 5/8 inch dowel on the way home. We'll bring you back later. All right, guys. I've decided to, well, I hadn't decided to do nothing. What I'm gonna do right now is just put these bolts through. This will be a temporary thing because, you know, we don't know that that's exactly where I want to go. My wife's gonna pick up some stuff on the way home for me to finish this out. I will give her those instructions when I know exactly what I want. Flip this over, do the other side. I managed to move the hole, which is great. So we can find her again. All right. So now I'm going to move this and show attaching the ramp. All right. For our ramp, we'll go ahead and put the adjustable piece in. Stick this guy up here, which is our ramp. Get it kind of flush there. And you just take you a 3-inch piano hinge and you put that joker right there. We'll get one started on both sides. As soon as I get my drill. feeling bad and trying to work in the heat is not fun. I'm sure all of y'all know that. And these screws are just a little bit too small, looks like. Be all right for now. All right. It'll flush itself up there. And I'm going to get a bigger screw just to, because the head's a little too small on these screws. So I've got them right over here. Let me get one for this bottom. And this bottom. Alright, we'll put these other ones right here because they're just a hinge, just where it doesn't fall off on us. There we go. Alright, so that's a built table. A little bit bigger screws there. We'll do that. And then I'm going to lay this down on the floor and show you how it works. Well, here is our shave horse. It's on the ground. It's working pretty good. Like I said, here's your piece of material you want to. I got to figure out something there. My hinge is either sprung or something, so it's kind of leaning that way. I'll fix that. Probably just take this thing off and prise it over. But anyway, you take your piece of material that you want to work on, put it in the clamp, and now you can shave. If you're a bigger fella, want to work a little farther away, put all this farther that way. The more you move that ramp right there, or ramp adjuster, the less you got to move your feet to get that thing to clamp harder. But it works good. And then we're going to play with this thing. We'll make sure that this is where we want this pivot point. And if it is, we'll leave it there. If not, then we'll move it. Currently, I just got 2 bolts run through there. They don't even go through the other side. And that should be plenty. You don't have to use dowel if you don't want to. As you can see, I'm sitting leaning toward the left because of my left leg is sticking up above the seat. I'm going to fix that. I'll come in and sand all this stuff. Alright guys, we got the sand dryer here. And we are going to take care of some of these rougher edges. So I can figure out how to plug this thing up. Mainly right in here. It's just a sharp spot where your legs are going to be sitting the whole time. We'll just pretty it up a little bit. Alright guys, we'll dust her off. Eventually I will be wiping this thing down with some boiled linseed oil. Maybe everywhere but the seat, but she is built. Like I say, you have this done in less than a day. If you do it right, you can do it in 4 2x4 or 4 2x4x8s. Just cut all your long pieces first. That's the main thing. That way you don't end up like I did with needing a 36-inch piece and all you got is left 20-some inches. And then I have a couple of these left. Again, I did make my foot down here a little longer. Just my preference. You can take this, your adjustable thing here, and you want that thing kind of be tight. We'll put it up front here. Like that. And the farther that thing is forward, if it doesn't lay back, then the less far you got to push your feet. So we'll just put this dowel in here. We'll get her, put the dowel in here, and get our draw knife. Put a little bit of pressure on it. As you see, it don't move. So the first thing I want to be using this thing for is a, I don't know where it's currently at, is a an axe handle. We're going to make a new wedge banging axe. I've got a 30-inch handle. It's either 30 or 28. But I'll make that next video for y'all. Currently we've got to take a lot of wood off that handle to make it fit on this axe head. Here's the axe head. It's about 4 pounds. Like I said, we got it cleaned up. We'll put it on a handle. I'll show you how to do that. I hadn't done a whole lot. I have done a few. So we'll get to put the shave horse into action. But that's it. Less than 30 bucks, less than a day. You can have it. Y'all come back to Pinchgut Creek Farms. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll be seeing you on the next one.